One of the greatest things about biking is the affordability associated with it. A few $100 and you can buy a pretty decent bike at Walmart and have transportation. And while this is all that you need to get started, there are many things that can make the riding experience better. On this channel, we focus a lot on electric bikes for this reason. Adding an electric motor to a bike is one of the single biggest things you can do to radically change and improve the dynamics of riding a bike. But short of this, there are still many things that can complement a bike's utility and improve your riding experience. So today we're going to be shedding light on some of these sometimes overlooked aspects. I'll leave links to everything I mentioned below the video, and just so you know, nothing here is sponsored. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into this. Okay, so I've been a bike rider full-time now for 2 years. I got hooked after discovering the topic of e-bikes. I've been through roughly 4 primary bikes so far over that time, and collectively I have, let's just say, well over 10,000 miles of riding experience. And this list is going to be mostly based off of my first-hand experience, and we're going to be splitting up these products and the accessories into 3 different groups. Group 1 is going to be the basic essentials I think everyone can benefit from. Group 2 are more fundamental things I look for when buying a bike. And Group 3 are the accessories that I think are actually a waste of money. And I'll give you guys alternatives that I find more useful instead. Okay, so beginning with the essential category, let's kick this off with a lock, because if you don't invest in a proper lock, your bike will be stolen. It's going to be a traumatic experience, and you might lose faith in biking altogether. Cable locks are a complete joke. They can be cut in less than 1 second. A U-lock is the recommended lock in most scenarios. The brand that I personally have is Hip Lock. Again, not sponsored, but I like it for the design. It's very durable and has a rubberized coating, so it doesn't scratch your bike frame. Safety equipment definitely falls into the essential category, and you don't need to go too extreme here. Just do the basics like a helmet. And for this, I would definitely point you in the direction of a full face helmet, even on a slower bike, because the face shield does a lot of things for you. So it protects your eyes from particles, the wind, increasing your visibility. And in the winter, this face shield is an absolute necessity to keep your face from freezing. I combine this with a balaclava that covers my neck, lower half of my face, and it's a really effective cold weather combination. Again, I'll leave my top choices linked below the video. The other piece of dedicated safety gear are my gloves. I'm on my 3rd pair of these gloves in particular. The brand here is Glove Station, and I'm very happy with them. You can see they have solid padding on your palm area, as well as a knuckle cover. So it gives you some solid protection, and importantly, it preserves the dexterity of your hand. And to finish off the list of essentials, you definitely need solid lights, a phone mount, and a general purpose multi-tool. For lights, Amazon is full of cheap options. I settled on this one in particular because it's actually bright and it looks pretty good. A phone mount is essential. These cost roughly $20. They give you quick access to music controls, notifications, navigation. And finally, a multi-tool is always a good idea to help ensure you do not become stranded on the side of the road. You're gonna want something that can tighten bolts and help fix a tire. I like this tool personally, and I pair it with a pocket knife / plier multi-tool. For Group 2, these are different aspects or features you find on bikes. They're things I looked for when initially buying a bike, but in some cases you can add them post-purchase. And a kickstand is the first item in this group. I'm mentioning this because I noticed that there's a group of minimalist people out there that are vehemently against basic utility adding accessories like a kickstand. But a kickstand is so basic, it has so few drawbacks, and makes a bigger impact on your bike's daily utility than you might initially realize. Because you don't just use a kickstand when you get to a destination and want to park your bike. Think about all those moments that you need to leave your bike for a second to go back and close the gate, put on a helmet. Without a kickstand, you have to find a wall, a tree, something to lean your bike against in order to do those quick little activities. Fenders are another game changer for daily commuting and reliability. So fenders will ensure that you arrive at work, school, what have you, without being covered in mud and water. Every time I ride a bike without fenders, even if the road appears to be dry and clean, my back, shoes, and even my helmet get disgusting. And for daily commuting, this is completely unacceptable. You need to stay clean and dry. And these benefits also translate to the bike itself. helping to keep the bike clean and reduce the amount of maintenance required. Suspension is the final item in this group, and much like with fenders, this is a quality of life improvement. Way too many people claim that road bikes do not need suspension, and while technically true, this will give you a noticeably worse experience than a bike with suspension. For example, I ride my bike about 20 miles per day commuting, running errands around town, and on my current bike, this is no problem at all. It's a very pleasant, comfortable thing to do. But when I do this on a hard, non-suspension bike, it becomes a real problem because you feel every pothole in your butt, spine, wrist, and even your head. But the worst part is the next day when you might be sore from this, and then you have to get back on your bike, do the commute all over again, and it's even more painful. It's simply not a sustainable or enjoyable situation, and that's why suspension, for me, is a must-have feature. Now let's shift gears, no pun intended, and talk about items that you truly don't need and I think are a waste of money. And surprisingly, I found that racks are one of these items. In theory, they're great. They add a ton of utility to your bike, but in practice, I've just never found them effective. This was one of the first accessories I purchased on my first ever bike. I even put on a basket and used it for food shopping, but the setup never felt right. You still can't really put large items on a rack like this. It messes with the balance of the bike, and things can easily fall off. Instead, I always found myself using a backpack to carry stuff. It was way more convenient, practical, and the carrying capacity is about the same as one of these small little racks. I also realized that backpacks double as a great spine protector in the event that you crash. So I would say unless you have a dedicated cargo bike designed to hold larger items, skip the rack and just get a nice, solid backpack instead. I would also pass on bells and horns, things like that, because people in cars are just not going to hear it, and they take up valuable handlebar real estate. And same thing goes with the handlebar cup holders. I put my bottle in my backpack as it has 2 dedicated spots for bottles. So that's my list. I hope you guys found this useful. Please chime in the comments on what favorite piece of gear you personally have. Leave a like before you go, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.